today we're going to get a clutch in rump to get him back on the road. Alright, so far we've taken out the drive shaft and I have undone the shifter up top. Just took the handle out. I'm going to try and drop the cross member here and see if I can wiggle the shifter out without having to take the whole thing apart. Right now I'm unbolting the cross member. Okay, so here's our transmission, flywheel, throwout bearing right there. We've got our pressure plate and our clutch. The clutch actually doesn't look terrible, but it's pretty worn out. A lot of movement in here. The pressure plate, I don't think anything was wrong with the pressure plate itself, but it doesn't hurt to replace it now that we have it out. Flywheel looks pretty rough. There's no cracks or anything from heat, but it looks like what the biggest issue was, there's oil leaking out of the valve covers, and that caused issues over time, which is all this residue right here. So I think that was one reason that it was slipping, plus the fact that the clutch itself was worn out and the throwout bearing is pretty much shot. So we're going to replace all of it. Got a new transmission mount. It's good to replace it while it's out. New rear seal. We'll replace all of that. Sorry I didn't get any of me pulling the transmission out. Pretty crowded under there, and I didn't want to get the camera messed up or stuck up in there. And this thing's heavy. It's cast iron, so it's pretty heavy coming out of there. I had to actually like drop it and land it on my chest and then roll it out from under the vehicle. But everything else is going pretty smooth so far. We have a box right there from Rock Auto again. That's our flywheel. The clutch is supposed to be here by the end of the day, but everything is going pretty smooth, and hopefully we'll get this thing back together by the end of the day. So right here we have our new clutch disc. This is actually from Brute Performance. I got this from Rock Auto like I mentioned, and you can tell that the material looks a lot nicer than our old clutch. And here we have our new transmission seal for the output shaft, and here's our alignment tool for everything. And down here we have our new Luck pressure plate, and as you notice it looks brand new. And as you can see here we have multiple fingers for the pressure plate versus our old one, which only has these three, which are definitely worn out. Here we've got our throwout bearing. This one's nice because our old one was definitely worn out and it was not solid at all, so that one's going to be a big improvement for that. So let's go ahead and put this in the truck.
I'm afraid you're not on the list. I said, if you want me to do it for you, I'm going to do it. Otherwise,
so let's walk past this mess that I've made here. Check out our new balancer. So what happened was, on the old balancer, I think it was these two right here, actually stripped out. So it had 4 bolts in it on one side, and it would cause the pulley to wobble around, which it didn't damage the pulley, thankfully. As you can see here, we're pretty good here. None of the holes got elongated or anything like that. But I went ahead, pulled this off of another 318. You could find these at junkyards. You can find these new if you wanted to. But I actually took this off of another 318. And 318s are plentiful, so you could easily find one of these in a junkyard. What I did was tap all these holes and just chase the threads, just to make sure that they're going to go in fine. And these 2 bolts here are left over from the Charger. Whenever I did the balancer on it, I got new pulleys with the serpentine set up. So I've got 6 bolts here, we'll go ahead, pop this back on, then we'll bolt the pulley back on, do our belts and everything. Now you can actually rent these tool sets. I know not everybody's going to have one of these puller sets, like a hub puller or whatever. You can buy one or you can rent it at like O'Reilly's or something. I was actually just there to get valve cover gaskets, and I was looking at the tools you can rent, and you can actually get one of these. Pretty much any parts store is going to have like a tool loaner program, so this isn't unobtainable. I know some people got upset about the fact that we had the brake machine in the last video here. Any shop can turn these drums or rotors, so it's not like you can't do this yourself. So yeah, the tool set can be rented. You can get that anywhere basically, so don't think that you can't do this. It's really simple, not that hard. So I'm going to go ahead, put the new harmonic balancer on, and then bolt our pulley back together. So since I did get a lot of video up under the truck as I was pulling everything out, figured I'd just go ahead and explain it. And sorry I didn't, because there's not a lot of room under here, and I just wasn't able to get a tripod set up under here that well. And transmission is not that light, so it's not that easy filming under here. So sorry about that. But anyway, we're just explaining what I did. I took the transmission out, and it was just 4 bolts from the bell housing. I did the shifter up top, just took the handle off. And then we did the cross member, unbolted it on each side, and then there's a bolt that goes through the middle here, undid all that. And we've got a jack holding up the engine right now because there's no weight on the cross member. But what I did whenever I got it out, and there's plenty of videos out there about how to replace a clutch, it's really not that hard, it's nothing that's crazy. But I didn't have to take the bell housing out because that saved me some time as far as like the clutch fork, the starter, all the bolts for the bell housing. They're not that fun to get to. So I was able to actually do all of this without pulling the bell housing, and it saved me a lot of time and effort. I just spun the engine until I was able to take these 6 bolts out of the pressure plate, which then dropped the clutch disc. But then after that, I was able to pull the throwout bearing, take the pins out of it, and then drop the flywheel, which was just 6 bolts on the inside. I went through the bell housing up here to do that. Dropped it down, you saw that on video, and then just reversed the process. Took some brake cleaner, cleaned all the oil off of it on the pressure plate, the flywheel, all that stuff, made sure all of it was nice and clean. You can see my fingerprints on it, but I didn't get anything on the flywheel. I made sure of that. So make sure you keep those surfaces clean, and then I put the new throwout bearing in, and then just picked up the transmission, popped it in there, and I've just got 2 bolts holding it in right now. I actually need to finish up bolting everything together, and then fix the shifter. So now I need to finish up just buttoning up everything, bolt this all together, and then we'll adjust the clutch like I said, drive shaft, all that good stuff, and then we'll hopefully be able to drop this thing back on the ground. Okay, that should do it. Got the clutch in, pressure plates bolted in, everything is fine. Put our new transmission seal and mount in. Drive shaft is back in. Still have to change the engine mounts, but I'll do that at a later date. It's not that important. You see the drive shaft's in right there. We look under here. We've got our new seal. You cannot even see it at all, but it's there, I swear. But anyway, the transmission's back together, and we should be able to drop this thing back on the ground now. So let's go ahead, do that, and we'll back it out and see if our clutch works. Put some headlights in this thing too. Looks a lot better with some in there. Let's pull them on and look at them. High beams work as well. Pretty nice. Let's take this thing down the road. But we're in third gear. Speedometer works. And brakes. We are stopping very easily. Okay, go back into first. Transmission's a little noisy, but that's okay. I filled it up with the fluid, so I guess it's just how it's going to be. We need to get some new tires. I've got an idea for wheels. We're not going too fast, so it'll be fine. We're not going to blow anything up. That first to second is pretty sloppy. And second to third is not so bad. But check out that oil pressure. Now that's nice. I did change the oil in it, new filter and everything. I put 1040 in it. So for that, that's really good. Is the heater works in this thing. The blower motor kicked on. Dad actually got in with me one day to take a ride in it, slammed the door, and the heater kicked on. Not even joking. It was on, I had the switch on, and all of a sudden it just kicked on. So, I mean, pretty cool, I guess. But we got heat, and it works. So we've just been driving down the road a little bit, not going fast, but I just wanted to show you guys that this thing runs, drives, stops, does fairly well. I'm really enjoying it. Simple as that. We've got Rump back on the road with the new clutch, flywheel, pressure plate, throwout bearing, all the good stuff. Got that transmission mount in. We got some other stuff that we're going to do to it, like the engine mounts. We got an idea for wheels and tires, so that'll probably be in the next few episodes. We're going to take a break from Rump, get back to the Charger and a couple other things, but I just want to get this thing on the road and roadworthy. We still got some stuff to work out, obviously, but we made a lot of progress in the past couple episodes, so thank you for watching. If you like this video, please leave a like down below. If you have any questions for me, feel free to leave a comment. Send in your projects to my email. If you have any questions for me, you can send them there as well. Order your t-shirts and your stickers, guys. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.